Hi there, I just got back from Alien Covenant in the cinema, and this is my opinion of the film and a couple of things about it that kind of stood out and things that surprised me or didn't surprise me. Um, Basically, this film is Prometheus 1.5. A lot of people didn't like Prometheus because there was no aliens. I understand it was kind of sold as an alien film, and and to be honest, it is an alien film. Of course, it is. You got like the space jockey and the juggernaut, and if you can't see aliens in that, then and just and like the inclusion of the deacon at the end, that was just enough for me. I mean, it wasn't. They weren't going to like tack things on. I mean, I wasn't like a massive fan of the film, but it's definitely an interesting film. But anyway, this new film is Prometheus 1.5. I wouldn't say it's like a complete departure. In a way, it's very sad how they buckled to the fan service, because the least interesting thing about Alien Covenant is actually the xenomorph that's on all the posters. The prosomorph, actually, sorry. It's probably the least. It kind of feels to me like this film was always intended to just have the neomorph, and then at the last minute they changed the CGI in some shots. Like even the way the protomorph is standing upright and walking, it's definitely the neomorph, the basic model of the neomorph that's been updated just because of fan pressure, and even the name of the film, Alien Covenant. This film is not really. It's Prometheus 1.5. It's not about aliens at all. This film is about David. Just to let you know, there's going to be like some spoilers in this little review or oversight of the film. But this film is definitely about David and the 10 years since we last saw him, when Shaw took his head and his body from the Juggernaut, and they made plans to find the engineer's homeworld. The acting in the film was was okay for the most part. Like everyone did their job okay. There was no really bad acting. I think if there's any problems with the film, it's probably just with very similar to Prometheus, where they had a bit of a kind of like bit of a weird script to work with, but they all kind of it's quite confident. I've heard a lot of people praising Danny McBride, Tennessee, I think it's Danny McBride his name, and saying how surprised they were how good he was at acting. He wasn't that good. He was just the same as everyone else. They just got the job done. David was kind of, even though I love the character and I love Michael Fassbender, I really think he's great in Prometheus. I don't think he was as great in this. It just seemed a bit, I don't know, like since he's become a bit of a star, and kind of like the lead character in this, it seemed a bit overconfident in places. I don't know, a bit too human in ways. Whereas in Prometheus, he was quite believable as like an android kind of thing. You never question that. In this, you kind of his human side's coming out. But he was definitely interesting in this film, just as a character, and like how he's kind of gone a bit insane, and like he's had a lot of time on his hands, and he's been experimenting with the black goo, the accelerant or pathogen of Prometheus, and he's been experimenting with various wildlife and fauna and stuff like that, and because one of the things that they took out of future models of David was the ability to create, and this film is all about him creating stuff. Basically, he even talks to another android that's with the Covenant crew. The Covenant being the other ship. He even talks to him about creation. He tries to kind of prompt Walter, the other android, into creating a little tune on the flute. That's another scene that people have really got over the top about. Just the whole thing where when Walter's holding the flute and David says that he'll do the fingering, and people seem to think that's really sexually suggestive. He's fingering a flute. That doesn't mean what you think it means. It means the holes on it. I don't get people sometimes. Apparently, like that line's really out of place and really rips you out of the film. But that's down to your own personal kind of experience. I think he's talking about that's the correct term for playing a flute. It didn't seem like that at all. But what surprised me with Alien Covenant as well is that how drawn out it was and how long. Because I was led to believe it was really a bit too fast paced. Kind of like something that Interstellar. I wasn't really a massive fan of Interstellar the first time I watched it. It took me a few views to kind of appreciate it. But I found that film way too fast paced. Like 1 minute they're talking on a farm, the next minute they're kind of like in space kind of thing. It was really, really weird, the pacing, and I was led to believe that Alien Covenant was going to be the same, like just action scene after action scene and really badly cut together. But I found it quite drawn out. It's probably more so than Prometheus. I think Prometheus was a lot more jumpy, you know, where you had them in the cave and they were looking at paintings. The next thing you know, they were in a spaceship going to the... You know, I found this a lot more kind of like drawn out, especially the beginning section. I didn't expect it to be that long. It's quite a long build up until you sort of see the first kind of death, you know, the iconic backburster thing that's going to be pretty iconic. Another thing is the CG in the film, on the creatures in particular, was really... it was good CG, but it was definitely looked a bit fake in places, you know, especially just on some of like the wet look stuff, you know, like some of the alien stuff and that, and yeah, and the actual like the protomorph at the end, it just had a really weird like 1 minute it was running on all fours and it was standing upright and walking upright in a kind of humanistic way, similar to what the neomorph does in... There's a really cool scene actually in the film that I really liked with the neomorph, and there's a woman, I can't remember her name, or I didn't know her name to start with, but she's washing herself kind of thing, and the neomorph's just standing behind her, and he's kind of like got quite like a human frame to him, but he's about 8 feet high, and he's just standing there basically just watching her, but upright, and it was quite freaky and unusual. I'm assuming that was like a CG shot, but it was very man in a suit for a CG shot. But that was quite cool actually. I really liked that. It was very creepy and weird, in the same way as some of the scenes in the original Alien, you know, the aliens kind of like gliding along the floor and just being weird. Yeah, so it was a bit the film for me was a bit more drawn out, and a lot of people made a big fuss about like the life cycle of the neomorph and the protomorph, you know, how fast they came to gestation as well. I don't think that was a massive issue. It was, I think the protomorph was a bit more so. It sort of felt like one of the negative things of the film was the ending, I think, because on the posters and the name of the film, Alien Covenant, the whole legacy of the film, the big climax of the film is the protomorph, and the protomorph is a kind of like, it comes on, and you're kind of like expecting from the trailers and just from the whole setup, like the fact that they're on the actual, you know, they've got back to the ship and there's the protomorph on the ship. You're kind of expecting a mini kind of Alien 1 sort of situation, you know, and there's just no tension in that scene at all, and it plays up very fast, that whole section. I think they used a lot of the best moments of that in some of the trailers and then didn't include them in the film, you know, because they obviously spoiled it. But it was that part was very fast paced. Like you got the shower scene, you know, which is from one of the trailers. That was literally that was about the only kill in that scene, and yeah, and that comes right at the end of the film, and like I said, it sort of felt like that could have been a neomorph reskinned because it was CG. It didn't really have to be like a protomorph. I suppose with this film, it's not... I wouldn't say I really enjoyed it, but I didn't really go there to enjoy it. I just like the ideas from Prometheus. I like the ideas more than the film, and I like the direction it's going. And with this film as well, it's going to be really exciting to see... The journey to the next film is going to be really exciting, and some of the fan theories and just being on board for the journey. I'm not sure... Like this, I mean, it wasn't... I mean, it was okay. Some of the David scenes were okay, but it wasn't like the best film ever. But it was an enjoyable journey up to it, and enjoyable to see what actually got in the film. And some of the directions they go in, especially with David. One of the big spoilers is that he engineers the protomorph kind of thing, and the face huggers as well, and the eggs, the overmorphs they call them, don't they? So it's gonna. I would recommend seeing it just so you're on board for the whole journey to the next film, because a lot of the joy in Alien Covenant was being part of the community and just kind of like bouncing ideas off people, and and just kind of seeing that. But yeah, what else did I like about the film? So like I said, the acting was kind of like, it was all right. It was functional. It did the job. There was no real standout acting, I don't think. I think some of the women in the beginning were quite good. In the first neomorph kind of outbreak, sort of how it happens, and there was some really, it was quite a pretty film, and some sort of like iconic moments, like when David turns up on the field and shoots the flare. Also, I really enjoyed the moments when David was kind of like conversing, or like just with the neomorph, and when the protomorphs first spawn as well. The protomorph was more like the runner from Alien 3. It was kind of like it was full bodied when it came out. It was like a mini version of itself. It wasn't really a chest burster as such. But yeah, I think anyone coming to this film expecting an Alien film is probably going to be disappointed, because the aliens are obviously tacked onto this film. I don't think it was meant to be as alien-y as it is, and it sort of feels like that as well. It's more like, it feels like a mix of a couple of films. It feels like it's going the more philosophical thing, the questions about God and creation and being a creator, and your creation's kind of like superseding you and stuff like that. It's got all these like seemingly weighty kind of things, subjects, and then kind of it sort of wants to be an action film as well. But I think that was just for the fans, and I think that's what damages this film, because it would have. It probably would have been a lot more of like a slow burning kind of like cerebral kind of thing, but yeah, it's okay. I think it's cool in a way that it's going to keep the discussions going in the community, and it's definitely like set up a sequel and a prequel to Alien. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it. I would recommend, even if you spoiled it for yourself, it's still good to see it and see how things are acted out, and some of the things I didn't expect as well, like just the way the Covenant ship worked with the sails and stuff like that. There's still a lot of things to actually experience and see, and especially with David, like some of the intricate kind of the conversations he has with Walter, the other android, and stuff like that. It's quite interesting to see their like dynamic between each other. And anyway, I hope you enjoy it.